Now again, I believe in the dance and the shout as much as anybody. It is interwoven into our apostolic DNA. But I believe the dance and the shout should be the overflow of relationship rather than a byproduct of emotionalism. And I've grown up in Pentecost. I grew up going to youth camps and meetings just like this. And I've heard things preached, and I don't mean this rudely, but I've heard things preached that are not entirely biblical. We make non-biblical statements like, your public platform will never be greater than your private altar. The only problem with that statement is that it's nowhere in the Bible. Because if that were true, Saul would have never become king. When you study the life of Saul, you'll find out that Saul did not build his first altar until after he was elevated to the public platform of the king of Israel. And Saul's public platform had nothing to do with his private altar. And when we make statements like that, we are sending a message to a generation that the purpose of an altar in your life is to be a pathway to notoriety and popularity. But can I rebuttal that lie of the enemy and tell this generation that a private altar in your life is not a pathway to popularity and notoriety, but the purpose of an altar in your life is for something to die and be consecrated at that altar. You want to know what an altar is for? It's not so you can get the microphone at Remnant. That altar is for you to be in relationship and alignment with Jesus Christ. So I am seeing a generation. I have young people. I have young people come up to me at meetings just like this. And when I get finished preaching, I've had them ask me questions like, Brother Herring, how do you get messages to preach? I had a young man ask me that recently, and I think that my answer surprised him. He said, how do you get messages to preach? And I just responded and I said, I never prayed to preach. And I never studied to preach. I pray to know Him. And I study to know Him. And in looking for Him, He always gives me messages to preach. I believe that God is trying to recalibrate this generation that is eaten up with entertainment and celebrity culture. I believe God is trying to recalibrate this generation and get us back to a place where we are so consumed with relationship with Him that we've got to take a break from praying just to preach rather than take a break from preaching just to pray. Or we've got to take a break from praying just to play an instrument rather than take a break from playing an instrument just to pray. If it ever came down to it and I had to choose whether or not I never got to preach again or I never got to pray again, I'd hand this microphone off to somebody else because I'm so in love with Him, I just want to know Him.